Ancient roads carry more than just the ghosts of travelers. They hold silent secrets that have evaded explanation for centuries. Beneath layers of dust and stone lie 28 unsolved mysteries, from a Roman pathway made of whispering stones to a Silk Road caravan that vanished without a trace. By the end of this journey, you will uncover a hidden layer of human history that challenges everything we think we know about the past. What advanced knowledge was buried with these forgotten routes, and why have their greatest puzzles remained unsolved for so long? How much of our own story is still waiting to be found just beneath our feet? The faint hum rising from those ancient stones is a sound out of time. Along that secluded stretch of the Appian Way, the whispering stones present a riddle carved in an unknown language. Their symbols do not correspond to any known Roman script, leaving their message permanently locked away. Were they a form of communication, a way to send warnings or messages across long distances using only the wind? Could they have been a religious artifact designed to create an otherworldly choir to honor the gods? Or perhaps they served as a primitive security system, their eerie hum alerting guards to the approach of strangers on a foggy night. The sheer sophistication of their acoustic properties is what truly baffles experts. To engineer a stone that sings with the breeze requires a profound understanding of sound waves and resonance, a knowledge that seems to belong to a much later era. This single stretch of road forces us to question the full extent of Roman engineering prowess. How much advanced understanding was lost in the slow collapse of the empire, its secrets sinking back into the very earth it once conquered? The stones continue their quiet song, a haunting melody from the past whose notes we can no longer read. And as that mysterious hum fades from our thoughts, another ancient pathway beckons, this one leading to a silence even more profound. This disappearance is an archaeological void, a perfect absence where there should be a mountain of evidence. Spanning the treacherous Taklamakan Desert, a caravan of immense wealth and scale, documented in Chinese court records and Central Asian trade logs, was here one day and utterly gone the next. It was not merely a few merchants with pack animals. This was a grand procession transporting a king's ransom in carved jade artifacts, guarded by seasoned soldiers, and yet it left no broken cart, no sun-bleached bone, and not a single piece of its precious green stone has ever been recovered. The desert itself is the confounding factor here. The Taklamakan is a natural museum, its arid climate famously preserving organic materials for centuries. Wood, textiles, and even ancient documents have been found in near-perfect condition. So why has this one caravan, so large and so well documented, been completely erased? A sudden, colossal sandstorm remains the most favored scientific theory. Such storms can rise with terrifying speed, burying everything in a suffocating tide of sand within minutes, creating a tomb without a marker. Others point to the very real threat of bandits, but this explanation too falls short. Bandits would have plundered the jade, and such unique artifacts would have eventually resurfaced on the black market, leaving a trail back to the crime. Their total absence from history suggests something far more final. The caravan and its legendary jade did not just get lost, they were swallowed whole, leaving behind one of history's most tantalizing and enduring treasure myths. It is a stark reminder that these ancient roads were not just pathways of commerce, but gauntlets of extreme danger where fortunes and lives could vanish in a single, silent moment. From the silent sands of Asia, our journey moves to the cold, misty highlands of South America, where an ancient road defies the very landscape it crosses. High in the Andes, the Quhapacñan is more than a road. It is a stone ribbon tying an empire together. Along its vast network, certain massive monoliths rise from the earth, placed with a precision that seems to defy the very mountains they stand upon. These are not random markers. They are giant, immovable clocks and calendars carved from stone, aligned to capture the sun's rays with breathtaking accuracy on the solstices and equinoxes. The light touches them in a specific way only on those specific days, casting shadows that point like silent fingers across the landscape. The puzzle is not just their astronomical purpose, but their impossible origin. The engineering feat of moving these multi-ton stones across such brutal, vertical terrain is staggering even by today's standards. How did a civilization without the wheel or draft animals achieve this? More perplexing still, the foundational knowledge for these alignments appears to predate the Inca Empire itself by centuries. So who truly designed this system? Were the Inca inheritors of a far older, lost science? Each theory proposed only deepens the mystery. If they were navigation aids, they represent a map of the heavens etched into the earth, guiding travelers not just by land but by the stars. If they were religious sites, they fused worship with an advanced understanding of cosmic cycles. Or perhaps they are pieces of a larger cosmological map, a grand design we are only just beginning to perceive. These aligned stones are more than monuments. They are silent witnesses to a depth of knowledge we have yet to recover, their secrets still locked within the rock. As these South American giants guard their celestial secrets, our path now leads to the shifting deserts of the Middle East, where an even older enigma lies waiting beneath the sand. Buried in a nondescript hillside along the King's Highway, a stash of weapons waited for millennia. It was not a forgotten armory or a warrior's grave, but a secret chamber discovered purely by chance during modern roadwork. Inside, workers found a collection of bronze swords, axes, and spearheads, each one in a state of preservation so perfect they seemed to have been forged yesterday. The initial excitement, however, quickly gave way to profound confusion. The metallurgy of these weapons was all wrong. Analysis revealed they were made from a unique bronze alloy, harder and more durable than any known from that period. Their casting techniques showed a sophistication with heat treatment and metalworking that, according to our historical records, should not have emerged for another 500 years. It was as if a piece of future technology had been dropped into the distant past. The chamber itself offered no answers. There were no skeletons, no pottery, no inscriptions carved into the walls to name the makers. This was not a burial, it was a deliberate, anonymous deposit. Why would a civilization capable of such advanced manufacturing hide its greatest achievement? Were these prototype weapons developed for a war so terrible their creators chose to bury the knowledge rather than let it loose upon the world? Or does this cache represent a lost kingdom, a brief flash of technological brilliance that was snuffed out by conquest or catastrophe, leaving no other trace behind? This single hidden room forces a complete re-evaluation of the Bronze Age. We are left to wonder if our timeline of human innovation is not a steady upward climb, but a story of fits and starts, with peaks of knowledge that were reached and then tragically lost. From this puzzle of anonymous technology, we shift to a mystery etched in a far more intimate script. The silent messenger still clutches his unread letter. Along the ancient Amber Road, a trade route of immense importance, a bog yielded not just a body, but a perfect snapshot of a moment frozen in time. The man was a Bronze Age courier, preserved with such incredible detail by the peat that we know what his last meal was, the intricate weave of his woolen cloak, and the precise craftsmanship of his leather satchel. He was a professional, equipped for a long and important journey, carrying a sealed message container meant for someone's eyes only. The ultimate frustration is that we hold that very container in our hands today, yet its secret remains locked away. Inside is a cipher of such complexity that it has resisted every modern attempt at decryption, from supercomputers to the world's top cryptographers. This is not a simple substitution code. It is a sophisticated system that points to a level of administrative and diplomatic complexity in the Bronze Age that we are only beginning to appreciate. Who was this man running to or from? Was he a diplomatic envoy carrying terms for a treaty, a merchant spy with price lists for coveted amber, or perhaps the sole survivor of a conflict carrying a desperate plea for help? The bog gave us the man, but it withheld his story. His very presence on that route confirms the Amber Road was more than a path for trading pretty yellow stones. It was an information superhighway where the secure transfer of knowledge was as valuable as any gem. The unbroken code is a humbling reminder that for all our technology, a piece of bark and a clever mind from 3,000 years ago can still keep a secret forever. From this personal and poignant mystery of a message undelivered, we turn to constructions of a scale so immense their very purpose has been erased from memory. Beneath the sun-baked surface of the Persian royal road, a hidden world lay completely undetected for centuries. Recent surveys using ground-penetrating radar have peeled back the Earth to reveal an astounding secret: a sprawling subterranean network of chambers and tunnels running for miles parallel to the famous highway. This was not a few simple caves. These were engineered spaces, complete with sophisticated ventilation shafts to bring in fresh air and walls reinforced with a kind of primitive concrete, showing clear intent for long-term, repeated use. The sheer scale of this construction is staggering, a project that would have required immense resources and labor, and yet it is a ghost in the historical record. Persian inscriptions, so detailed in their accounts of imperial achievements, are utterly silent. They speak of the speed of royal messengers and the glory of the king, but not a single word is spent on this massive underground endeavor. This silence fuels intense debate among archaeologists. What was its true purpose? The most compelling theory points to military strategy. This hidden network could have allowed for the rapid, unseen movement of troops, springing a surprise on an enemy who thought they only had to control the road above. It might have served as a secure communications line where messengers could travel sheltered from the elements and prying eyes. Or perhaps it was a system of emergency shelters, a place for vital personnel and supplies to wait out a siege or a natural disaster. Each theory is plausible, yet none can be definitively proven. An even deeper puzzle lies in its origins. Were these tunnels dug by the same Persian engineers who built the surface road, a secret component of their imperial infrastructure? Or does this network represent a later modification, added by a completely unknown culture that commandeered the road for its own mysterious purposes, leaving no mark except these empty passages? This hidden dimension forces us to reconsider the very definition of an ancient road. It was not merely a line on a map, but a complex, multi-layered organism with a public face and a secret subterranean heart. It proves that for all we know about these ancient routes, we have only been studying the surface. And as we contemplate these vast, empty halls built for an unknown need, we find a mystery on a far more human scale, a single object lost in the English mud that should not exist. The hardened mud along the Via Maris holds the ghosts of a silent parade. Preserved with heartbreaking clarity are not the prints of soldiers or merchants, but hundreds of small, barefoot children's footprints, all captured in a single, unified direction. There are no larger footprints alongside them, no signs of adult supervision or coercion. The pattern of the steps themselves deepens the mystery, showing no scattering, no running, and no hesitation. This was a calm, orderly, and seemingly purposeful procession of the very young, walking a path they would never return from. Dating techniques place this event squarely in a time of regional peace and prosperity, a period with no records of war, famine, or plague that would typically explain such a bleak exodus. The historical record, usually so eager to note triumphs and tribulations, is completely mute. No chronicle from any nearby kingdom mentions a mass movement of children. This void has forced archaeologists to confront a puzzle with no clear solution. Could this have been a religious event, a pilgrimage of children chosen for some sacred duty? Or does it point to a darker, unrecorded economic reality, a systematic conscription of the young for labor in some distant city? Each theory feels inadequate. A pilgrimage would likely have involved some adult priests or guides, whose footprints are conspicuously absent. Forced labor would almost certainly have left some trace of resistance in the pattern of the steps. The footprints simply march on, a silent testament to a cultural practice or a forgotten crisis so profound that it compelled an entire generation of children to walk away from their homes, leaving behind only their faint impressions in the mud. It is an intimate and devastating snapshot of a lost moment, a mystery written not in stone or code, but in the vulnerable shapes of small feet. While these fragile tracks speak of a single, poignant event, our next discovery involves objects of such puzzling permanence that they seem to defy the very flow of time itself. Buried in the sands of the Sahara along the ancient camel routes, objects have surfaced that simply do not belong. These are not misplaced trinkets, but artifacts that defy the established timeline of human innovation. Among the most baffling is a small, precision-made glass lens, discovered in a layer of earth dating back over 3,000 years. This is not a crude piece of shaped glass, but an object with clear optical properties, capable of focusing light with a degree of accuracy that should not have been possible for millennia. Its creation would have required a sophisticated understanding of physics and the mathematics of curvature, knowledge that, according to our history books, was the exclusive domain of much later civilizations. Alongside this lens were found metal fragments, their composition adding another layer to the puzzle. Analysis revealed they contained trace elements and an atomic structure alien to the known metallurgical practices of Africa in 1000 BCE. These are not the familiar bronzes or early irons of the era, but something else entirely, a material recipe that appears to have no contemporary source. How did such advanced objects end up in the hands of desert traders 1,000 years before the Common Era? The isolation of the find makes the mystery even deeper. Were these items the products of a brilliant but forgotten local culture, a society that achieved a brief flash of technological genius only to be swallowed by the desert sands, leaving no other trace? Or do they represent evidence of long-distance exchange on a scale we have underestimated, suggesting that advanced knowledge was flowing across continents along these trade routes, passing from one mysterious culture to another? Each theory is as troubling as it is exciting, forcing us to reconsider the very roots of science and invention. Perhaps our past is not a simple, linear progression, but a tapestry woven with threads of knowledge that were discovered, lost, and then discovered all over again. These anomalous artifacts are quiet, physical challenges to our historical narrative, whispering that we have only just begun to understand the true capabilities of our ancestors. And as we ponder these misplaced pieces of advanced technology, our journey turns from the inorganic to the organic, to a mystery written not in glass or metal, but in the very bones of the travelers themselves. High in the stark deserts of Oman, near the path of the legendary incense route, a message was written not on parchment or stone, but in the very bones of a forest turned to rock. From the ground, the scene appears as a natural collection of petrified logs scattered by time. But from above, an astonishing pattern emerges. These ancient trees were not randomly deposited by some prehistoric flood. They were deliberately and painstakingly arranged into vast geometric symbols. The shapes are stark and precise, forming spirals, concentric circles, and interlocking lines that cover an area larger than several modern city blocks. The sheer scale of the arrangement is the first great puzzle, a project that would have required the coordinated labor of many people over a significant period, all to move these immensely heavy stone logs into a pattern they themselves could never see. Who were they building this for, and why create a message that only the sky could read? The symbols themselves offer no easy answers. They do not match any known alphabet or pictorial language from the cultures that thrived along the incense trade. They are a complete visual cipher, a code without a key. The petrified wood dates to roughly 2,000 years before the Common Era, placing this monumental effort right at the height of the region's prosperity from the frankincense and myrrh trade. This was a time of immense wealth and cultural exchange, yet this construction stands entirely outside of any recorded tradition. Researchers are left with theories that range from the practical to the profound. Could this have been a giant land navigation marker, a kind of primitive GPS for caravan pilots crossing the featureless desert, a sign visible for miles to anyone who knew to climb the surrounding ridges? Or does it point to the heavens, an astronomical calendar aligned with the stars to mark the seasons for trade or religious ceremonies? Perhaps it was a sacred site, a temple without walls where the petrified trees themselves were seen as vessels of divine power, arranged to channel that energy for a purpose we can no longer comprehend. The immense effort tells us one thing for certain: this was a place of supreme importance. Its builders invested their greatest resource, their labor, into a message they believed was vital, a signal meant to endure for millennia. And yet, its meaning has been utterly lost to the wind. It stands as a silent monument to a forgotten language of the earth, a reminder that the most important truths of a culture can vanish without a whisper. From this vast desert message intended for the sky, we turn to a discovery hidden deep underground that challenges everything we thought we knew about the economics of the ancient world. A different kind of precision was found hidden within the way stations of the Persian royal road, one that governed not the movement of armies, but the very flow of wealth. Excavations at these remote posts revealed carefully carved stone weights, each one an embodiment of a secret economic language. These were not random stones, they were part of a meticulously coordinated system, with identical weights being found at stations separated by hundreds of miles of rugged terrain. This points to a vast, centrally controlled network of trade and taxation that operated with an efficiency historians never attributed to the ancient world. The true mystery, however, lies in the numbers themselves. The weights follow a strict mathematical progression based on prime numbers, a level of abstract sophistication that is completely absent from all other known Achaemenid measurement systems. Why would an empire develop two separate systems, one for public use and this other, more mathematically elegant one for a hidden purpose? The silence from the historical record is deafening. The detailed administrative tablets from the Persian court, which meticulously record taxes paid in sheep and grain, never once mention this prime-based standard. It is a ghost system operating in the shadows of the official economy. Then, just as mysteriously as it appeared, the evidence suggests it was abandoned. The weights were left behind at their stations, as if a secret command was issued to cease all operations at once. Was this a proprietary system used by a powerful merchant guild that rivaled the crown itself? Or perhaps it was a royal experiment in economic control, a prototype for a more rational taxation system that was scrapped after a change in leadership or a political upheaval. This hidden metrology forces us to reconsider the economic complexity of the ancient world. It suggests that beneath the grand narratives of kings and conquests, there existed a clandestine world of high finance and regulated trade, a system so advanced and so secret that its very existence was erased from history. While these standardized weights speak of a hidden economic order, our next discovery reveals a secret of a far more personal and poignant nature. Buried beneath the stones of a British Roman road, a lead box held a story without a plot. During routine repairs, workers unearthed a sealed container, and inside lay a puzzle of human lives. There was a soldier's bronze ring, a merchant's carved seal for stamping documents, a farmer's pristine iron trowel, and a priest's delicate medallion. Each item was in perfect, unworn condition, as if made specifically for this purpose. They were not lost possessions, but a collection deliberately chosen and placed together with ceremonial care at a significant crossroads. Why would objects representing such different walks of Roman life be grouped and hidden beneath the very foundation of their society, the road itself? The arrangement feels deeply symbolic, a physical poem about community, yet its verse is one we can no longer read. Some researchers argue it was a foundation deposit, an offering to the gods to protect the road and all who traveled it, blending the fates of the warrior, the trader, the cultivator, and the holy man into one plea for safety. Others see it as a more intimate ritual, perhaps a vow made by four individuals bound by a shared experience or a secret pact, their chosen emblems buried to seal a promise. The frustrating truth is that we have no other find like it. This capsule stands alone, a one-of-a-kind message from the past. We hold the words, these carefully selected objects, but the grammar that connects them has vanished. It is a silent testament to a belief or a custom so personal or so localized that its meaning died with the people who placed it there. This mysterious gathering of identities reminds us that these roads were built on more than gravel and sand. They were built on human hopes and unspoken agreements. And as we ponder this silent conversation between a soldier, a merchant, a farmer, and a priest, our next discovery reveals a different form of lost communication, one etched not in metal but in the landscape itself. At a windswept crossroads where Silk Road routes converged, a single stone stands against the emptiness. This is not a simple marker, but a linguistic universe carved into granite, inscribed with 12 distinct languages. 9 of these scripts can be read, telling tales of merchants from China, Persia, India, and the Mediterranean. But 3 of the languages are absolute enigmas, their characters forming patterns that do not correspond to any known language family on Earth. They are ghosts in the historical record, representing cultures and peoples who have left no other trace behind. The stone's primary function seems clear: to mark a territorial boundary or a special trading zone where different rules applied. Yet the inclusion of these unknown tongues transforms a simple administrative object into a profound mystery. It suggests this was more than a trade stop. It was a veritable United Nations of the ancient world, a hub of cultural exchange so diverse that it welcomed voices now completely lost to time. Why would a boundary marker need to include languages from seemingly impossible distances? And who were the people who spoke these untranslatable words? The stone's physical placement confirms its importance, yet historical maps and caravan logs are utterly silent. There is no mention in any chronicle of a gathering place of such staggering multiculturalism. This forces a startling reconsideration of the Silk Road's complexity. We are left to wonder if our understanding of these routes is like seeing only the largest stars in a dense galaxy, missing the countless smaller lights that filled the space between. The three unknown languages are a tantalizing void. Were they the dialects of nomadic tribes that controlled key mountain passes, their power so absolute that their terms had to be honored by every traveler? Or do they represent isolated city-states, glittering oases of unique culture that flourished for a few brief centuries before vanishing back into the desert, taking their language with them? Each untranslated line on that stone is a sealed chapter in human history. This linguistic mosaic is a frozen moment of conversation between worlds we did not know were connected, a snapshot of a globalized ancient society far more intricate than we ever imagined. Just as this stone represents a pinnacle of ancient communication, our path now leads to a structure that embodies a peak of engineering, one whose method of construction remains an utter mystery. Beneath the sun-bleached stones of Crete, a different kind of current once flowed. The Minoan road system, famous for connecting grand palaces, hid a secret not of travel but of water. Excavations have uncovered a network of channels so precisely cut and angled they form a complex hydraulic circuit running alongside the paths. This was far more than a simple gutter for rain. Archaeologists found stone pressure chambers designed to build up force, and intricate mechanisms that acted as primitive valves to control the flow. The water was not just being moved, it was being manipulated with an engineering intent that defies easy explanation. What practical need could have driven such sophistication? The obvious answers all fall short. It was too complex for mere irrigation of the roadside fields, and the Minoans had other, simpler systems for palace drainage. The true purpose of this liquid engine remains a ghost in the machine. Some researchers propose an industrial use, perhaps to power simple machinery for grinding grain or polishing stone, a kind of pre-industrial revolution happening 2,000 years before its time. Others wonder if the system had a ritual function, creating moving water displays for religious ceremonies, or using the sound and flow of pressurized water to produce hypnotic effects within sacred sites. The most tantalizing theory suggests this was a form of early scientific experimentation, a playground for engineers to explore the principles of hydraulics for its own sake. Whatever its purpose, the technology stands as an anomaly. It is more advanced than anything else found in Minoan ruins, a peak of knowledge that appears suddenly and then vanishes just as completely with the civilization's collapse. This was not just a road with a water feature, it was a proof of concept for a lost branch of engineering, a silent testament to a curiosity about the natural world that we are only now rediscovering. As this engineered waterway guards its secret purpose, our attention turns from hidden function to mysterious form, to art that was never meant to be seen. These solar-aligned carvings are a calendar written in light and shadow. Along the remote northern stretches of the Amber Road, ancient artists did not simply decorate the cliffs, they engineered a celestial clock. The petroglyphs remain faint and incomplete for most of the year, hidden within the natural contours of the rock. But on the dawn of a solstice or equinox, the sun strikes the stone at a precise angle, and for a few fleeting minutes, the shadows retreat to reveal the full, stunning images. This is not a chance effect. It is a deliberate and breathtakingly accurate use of solar mechanics, requiring generations of patient astronomical observation to achieve. The content of the illuminated scenes only deepens the wonder. They do not depict the familiar gods or heroic tales of the Baltic tribes known to have traded here. Instead, the carvings show a cascade of geometric patterns that resemble schematic diagrams, interwoven with symbols that look less like animals or people and more like abstract representations of natural forces. One prominent series shows concentric circles connected by sweeping lines, as if mapping the flow of energy or perhaps even celestial pathways. The local folklore, rich with stories of spirits and heroes, is utterly silent on these images. It is as if the knowledge was so specialized, so tightly held by the creators, that it vanished without being passed down, leaving no cultural memory behind. This forces a difficult question. Who were these astronomer artists? Were they a secretive guild of navigators who used these solar events to calibrate their journeys and mark significant dates for trade? Or does this site represent the sacred knowledge of a spiritual sect, a mystery religion that worshipped the sun itself and encoded its teachings in a language of light that only the initiated could fully read? The petroglyphs are a dual mystery, their method of display as advanced as their message is inscrutable. They stand as a brilliant but silent intersection of science and art, a reminder that some of the most profound knowledge of the ancient world was written not on parchment, but on the landscape, visible only to those who knew exactly when and where to look. From these temporary visions carved for the sun, we now examine a discovery that reshapes our entire understanding of ancient mobility and travel. The chronicles of the first Spanish explorers in the Andes are filled with awe, but one detail stands out as almost supernatural. They wrote of vast, suspended bridges swinging high over bottomless gorges, spans so immense they seem to defy the very stone and rope used to build them. While we know the Inca were master bridge builders, using woven grass cables to create structures like the last surviving Huayhuachoca, these particular described bridges were something else entirely. According to the accounts, their scale was impossible. They crossed distances that would challenge even modern steel cabling, swaying over voids that no rope bridge of that era should have been able to navigate. The descriptions suggest a material science we cannot place, a method of weaving or treating organic fibers to give them a strength and durability that simply should not exist. Modern engineers have tried to recreate these feats using only the tools and materials documented from the period, and they have consistently failed. The physics do not add up. How could a society without metal tools, without written calculation, achieve a structural engineering milestone that seems to flirt with the impossible? This leads to a troubling question. Were the Spanish chroniclers exaggerating, their minds addled by altitude and fear? Or were they accurately describing a pinnacle of Inca engineering, a secret technique for creating super ropes that was lost in the violent chaos of conquest? Perhaps these bridges represent a brief, localized technological golden age, a flash of genius in one particular valley that was erased before it could spread. These missing bridges are more than just lost monuments. They are ghosts in the engineering record, forcing us to wonder if an entire branch of practical knowledge vanished without a trace. While these giants of engineering haunt the high mountains, a discovery on a much smaller scale from a different continent presents a puzzle of an entirely different nature. Even the dust along the Persian royal road holds a secret. Modern soil analysis has uncovered a phantom industry hidden in the most minute of forms, microscopic fragments of metal and glass beads scattered for miles. To the naked eye, they are nothing, mere specks of dirt, but under powerful microscopes they reveal a story that should not exist. Their composition is alien to the Achaemenid era, showing alloy mixtures and glass formulas that do not match any known production methods from that time. Even more baffling is their manufacture. These tiny objects bear the unmistakable signature of exposure to extreme, sustained heat and show evidence of precision, shaping on a scale we would associate with modern industrial processes. It is as if a factory from the future was operating just out of sight, its byproducts settling onto the world's first superhighway. The distribution of these fragments is what truly confounds researchers. They are not concentrated in one workshop or a single trash pit, but are spread evenly along vast stretches of the road. This suggests they were either deliberately scattered, like a kind of ancient ritual offering we cannot comprehend, or they are the fallout from a regular, widespread activity that has left no other trace. Could these be the residue from the maintenance of some advanced vehicle or device that traveled this route, a technology completely lost to us? The leading theories feel inadequate. Lost manufacturing techniques would have left behind slag heaps, furnaces, or tools, none of which have been found. Pollution from an unknown industry is a tantalizing idea, but what industry? The historical record describes the Persian Empire in detail, yet it never mentions an industrial process capable of producing such materials. The possibility of contamination from a later period is the simplest explanation, yet the fragments are sealed in undisturbed archaeological layers that date squarely to the road's prime. These micro-artifacts are a paradox of scale, a testament to a sophistication so advanced it operated at a level invisible to the world, leaving behind only these ghostly particles as proof of its existence. They force us to wonder if our understanding of ancient technology is not just incomplete, but fundamentally blind to an entire dimension of activity. While these microscopic puzzles challenge our view of ancient industry, a different kind of intellectual mystery was being carved into the landscape far to the east, one written in the universal language of numbers. The Roman road builders left a signature far more complex than stone and mortar. Surveyors charting the empire's vast network in North Africa uncovered a series of unassuming markers, each one placed at a seemingly random point along the route. Yet when these positions were plotted on a map, a breathtaking pattern emerged. The distances between the stones were not random at all. They followed the elegant progression of the Fibonacci sequence and aligned with the distribution of prime numbers. This was not a simple, practical measurement system. It was a form of pure mathematics carved directly into the landscape. The sheer consistency of this pattern is what defies explanation, stretching for hundreds of miles across the desert with a precision that seems to serve no visible function. The markers do not line up with changes in terrain, they do not mark property boundaries, and they offer no clear advantage for navigation. So why would an empire renowned for its ruthless practicality invest such immense effort in what appears to be an abstract mathematical exercise? The theories proposed only deepen the intrigue. Perhaps the markers were part of a grand astronomical survey, their positions creating a terrestrial map of celestial patterns. Others suggest they were a philosophical statement, an attempt to impose a divine, mathematical order upon the chaotic wilderness they conquered, using the universal language of numbers to claim the land in a way only the gods would understand. The most compelling idea is that this was a secret training ground for imperial surveyors, a way to encode advanced mathematical principles into the very infrastructure of the empire, passing on a hidden curriculum to future generations. Whatever their purpose, these stones are a ghost in the machine of Roman engineering. They reveal a layer of intellectual ambition we never knew existed, a fascination with abstract beauty woven directly into the fabric of their most utilitarian creations. It is a quiet revolution in our understanding of the Roman mind, proving that their greatest roads were built not just for legions but for ideas. This hidden numerical code forces us to look beyond engineering and into the realm of ancient biology, where an even more personal mystery was taking root. A sealed clay pot held a garden from another time, discovered in a forgotten Silk Road storage chamber. This container safeguarded its contents so perfectly that when opened, the seeds inside appeared as if they had been harvested yesterday. Yet these were no ordinary seeds. Botanical analysis revealed a genetic code unlike anything in the modern world, with chromosomal structures that defy the established rules of plant evolution. They are alien to our understanding, completely unidentifiable with any species, whether living or lost to history. The seeds were not simply stored, they were meticulously documented. A scroll accompanied them, covered in instructions written in a script that has resisted all attempts at translation, a clear guide for planting or study that we can no longer follow. This was a deliberate act of preservation, a biological time capsule meant for a future its creators would never see. The location of the find adds another layer of impossibility. Climate data for the region confirms these plants could never have thrived there. They were travelers brought across unimaginable distances along the trade routes, their delicate potential protected in clay. Why would anyone go to such extraordinary lengths? Were these the prized cultivars of a lost civilization, agricultural treasures that held the key to survival in a harsher world? Or do they point to something more profound, like a program of deliberate botanical experimentation, an ancient science seeking to create new forms of life through hybridization? This single pot forces us to reconsider the very nature of ancient knowledge. It suggests that the Silk Road was not just a conduit for spices and silk, but for ideas and biological innovation, a network where the secrets of life itself were a valued currency. These unknown seeds represent a lost branch on the tree of life, a silent testament to a sophistication with the natural world that we are only now beginning to glimpse. And as this silent garden waits to be understood, our journey turns from the secrets of life to the mysteries of sound, where an ancient instrument was found that should not exist. The stones along the King's Highway in Jordan still sing a forgotten song. A specific section of this ancient route was paved not with common rock, but with carefully shaped stones that function as a massive, embedded musical instrument. When struck or traversed by the iron-rimmed wheels of a cart, each stone emits a distinct, clear tone. The arrangement is not random. Acoustic analysis reveals they were deliberately tuned and spaced to create specific, repeating melodic patterns that would have played out with the rhythm of a traveler's pace. This was no accidental byproduct of construction. It was a masterful fusion of art and acoustic engineering. The sophistication is staggering, demonstrating a profound understanding of sound propagation and harmonic principles that feels out of place in the historical timeline. Why would a civilization invest such effort in a musical road? The silence from the historical record is absolute. No chronicle, no royal decree, not even a passing poet's mention of this marvel. This void has left researchers to debate its purpose across a wide spectrum. Was it a grand aesthetic statement, a royal pathway designed to announce one's arrival with a literal fanfare? Could it have served a more compassionate purpose, acting as a navigational aid for blind or visually impaired travelers who could follow the melodic sequence to stay on course? Or was its true function rooted in the spiritual, a ceremonial path where each step produced a sacred chord, transforming a journey into a walking hymn? The very fact that it was never written down is its own kind of clue. Perhaps its purpose was so obvious to everyone at the time that recording it seemed unnecessary, a part of daily life as unremarkable as the road itself. Or maybe it was an experimental project, a brilliant engineer's fleeting concept that was abandoned after a brief trial, its song falling silent for centuries. This musical pavement stands as a testament to a culture that saw utility and beauty as inseparable, a harmonious intersection of disciplines whose shared purpose has been utterly silenced by time. From these acoustic mysteries that resonate with a lost artistry, our journey moves to the silent language of maps, where an ancient chart held a secret geography no one could explain. A collection of fired clay tiles found scattered in a Minoan storage room seemed at first to be simple inventory records, but when researchers began to piece them together, a ghost emerged from the fragments, a detailed map of the entire Mediterranean basin rendered with impossible precision. The coastlines were not the vague, mythical shapes seen in other ancient maps, but startlingly accurate contours, capturing the distinctive curves of islands and peninsulas that, according to our history books, lay far beyond the horizon of Minoan sailors. Most baffling of all were the clear depictions of landmasses that would not be formally documented by any other civilization for a full millennium. How could a Bronze Age culture, whose known world was the Aegean Sea, possess a near-complete geographical picture of a continent they supposedly never saw? The map's sophistication goes beyond mere shape. The tiles are covered in a code of tiny, repeating symbols, a visual language we can no longer decipher. A cluster of wave-like marks might indicate a treacherous current or a prime fishing ground. A series of dots could chart a safe sailing route between ports, or perhaps mark locations of vital resources like copper or tin. The map does not just show land, it seems to be a dynamic information system, a Bronze Age GPS loaded with data for the initiated. This single artifact shatters the conventional narrative of Minoan exploration. It suggests their sleek, oared ships did not merely hop between Cretan outposts, but embarked on epic voyages across the open sea, reaching the shores of North Africa, Italy, and perhaps even beyond the Strait of Gibraltar. The alternative is even more perplexing, that the Minoans were the hub of a vast, previously unknown information network, receiving and compiling cartographic data from a dozen different seafaring cultures, weaving together a secret master chart of the ancient world. Either scenario rewrites history, pointing to a golden age of discovery, an exchange that was completely erased from memory. The tiles are a silent testament to a lost age of explorers whose greatest achievement was buried and forgotten. This challenge to our historical timeline finds a strange echo not in geography, but in the alchemical secrets of another ancient road. These metal ingots were a recipe for the impossible. Scattered in hidden caches along Yemen's incense route, the ingots were not made of common bronze or iron, but of a material that should not exist. Analysis revealed a precise blend of copper infused with rare earth elements, minerals so difficult to isolate and process that their combination here defies the known capabilities of ancient furnace technology. The resulting alloy possessed almost magical properties, a ghost metal with phenomenal resistance to rust and an ability to conduct heat in ways that baffle modern engineers. Yet this incredible substance seems to have led nowhere. Not a single finished object, not a tool, not a weapon, not a piece of jewelry has ever been found crafted from this material. The ingots themselves are the end of the story, a cargo of pure potential that was never realized. This presents a profound puzzle. Why go through the monumental effort of creating a supermaterial only to never use it? The distribution of the caches offers a clue, suggesting they were being transported as valuable trade goods, a currency of advanced technology. But who was buying it, and for what ultimate purpose? The high temperatures required for the alloy's creation point to a brief, brilliant flash of metallurgical genius, a secret technique that was either too costly to sustain or was deliberately suppressed and lost to time. These forgotten ingots are not just lost metal, they are the ghost of an industrial revolution that never happened, a road not taken in the history of human innovation. As we contemplate this lost chapter in material science, our gaze is drawn upward to a mystery written not in metal, but in the stars themselves. These silent stone sentinels along Britain's Roman roads hold a conversation with the night sky. Certain long, straight stretches are punctuated by marker stones placed with an astronomical precision that defies their simple appearance. They are not milestones marking distance to the next town, but celestial waypoints. On specific nights of the year, these stones align perfectly with the rising or setting points of bright stars like Sirius or Arcturus, creating a terrestrial mirror of the constellations above. The engineering is too exact, too consistent across different regions to be a coincidence. It reveals a layer of sophisticated astronomical knowledge that Roman historians never wrote down, a secret curriculum embedded in the very gravel and stone. What practical need drove this fusion of road and cosmos? The alignments do not mark temples or signal important festival dates, leaving their true purpose shrouded in speculation. One compelling theory suggests they were a sophisticated navigation grid for night travel, a courier or a military unit moving after dark in an era before easy artificial light could have used these star-aligned stones to verify their course and maintain a true bearing through unfamiliar territory. It was a way to sail on land, using the fixed stars as a guide just as a mariner would on the open sea. Yet another idea ventures into more philosophical territory. Perhaps these roads were not just physical conduits for legions, but symbolic pathways. Aligning a man-made road with the eternal, unchanging heavens could have been a profound statement of order, an attempt to connect the transient power of an empire to the perpetual motion of the cosmos itself. This coordinated system spanning the province hints at a shared, specialized knowledge among the roads planners, a knowledge that evaporated with the collapse of Roman authority in Britain. The stars they tracked continue their ancient cycles, but the human reason for watching them from that specific spot on the ground is a memory that has faded from the world. This intricate connection between the earth and the sky finds a strange parallel in a much more intimate discovery, one that involves the ancient art of healing. A sealed ceramic jar held a forgotten pharmacy, unearthed from the sands of a remote Silk Road caravanserai. This vessel protected its contents so completely that the clay tablets inside, each inscribed with a precise medical recipe, were as legible as the day they were stored. The scripts are a linguistic mosaic, weaving together recognizable words from ancient languages with a cascade of completely undeciphered symbols. These unknown characters could be a specialized medical shorthand, a secret code to protect valuable intellectual property, or even the names of ingredients whose very existence has been erased from history. Modern scientists, armed with the partial translations, have attempted to recreate some of these ancient preparations. The results are both astounding and deeply puzzling. The mixtures demonstrate potent biological activity, capable of killing certain strains of bacteria or slowing the division of specific cells in a lab setting. Yet without the full context of the symbols, we are left with powerful tools and no clear instructions for their use. Were these remedies for a common ailment like fever, or were they targeted cures for diseases that no longer plague humanity? The sophistication of the pharmacology is what truly confounds experts. The recipes show a nuanced understanding of dosage, combination, and preparation that suggests generations of accumulated clinical experience. This was not trial and error, it was a refined science. Yet this advanced medical knowledge appears nowhere else. No other texts from the region or the period describe such complex pharmaceutical practices. This leads to a troubling question. Were these tablets the sacred texts of a secretive healers' guild, their methods so valuable they were hidden from the world? Or do they point to a lost civilization, a culture with advanced medical understanding that traded its knowledge along the Silk Road before vanishing without a trace? Each clay tablet is a locked chest of potential cures, a silent testament to a healing art that was discovered, perfected, and then tragically lost. The very roads that carried disease may have also carried its remedy, a secret now buried in plain sight. As we ponder these potent but silent medical recipes, our next discovery reveals a different kind of ancient pastime, one where the rules of the game have been forgotten for centuries. The same stones that guided imperial messengers also held spaces for play. Excavations at way stations along the Persian royal roads have uncovered a network of leisure carved directly into the rock, intricate game boards etched at regular intervals for hundreds of miles. These are not the familiar grids of Senate or the dice games of Rome. Their layouts are geometric mazes of concentric circles, interconnected squares, and pathways marked with symbols that correspond to no known mythology or numerical system. The discovery of polished stone and glass playing pieces alongside some boards confirms their purpose, their surfaces worn smooth from countless moves made by travelers waiting out the desert nights. This was not a haphazard collection of pastimes. The boards are standardized, their designs repeated with minor variations at stations separated by vast distances. This consistency points to an organized system, a shared cultural activity that was important enough to be replicated across the empire. The wear on the pieces tells us the games were popular, played frequently by people who knew the rules by heart, yet that knowledge has vanished without a whisper. What was the purpose of this imperial game network? Researchers are left with tantalizing theories. Were these tools for education, teaching complex logic, strategy, or even arithmetic to the children of merchants and officials stationed at these remote posts? Could they have served a military function, simulating battlefield tactics or diplomatic negotiations for officers on the move? Perhaps they were instruments of religious instruction, their winding paths representing spiritual journeys where each roll of the dice symbolized a test of faith or a step toward enlightenment. Or maybe, in their simplest form, they were just incredibly popular entertainment, a craze that swept through the empire, its rules passed down orally until the culture that cherished them finally faded away. These silent game boards represent a complete slice of daily life that has been erased, a reminder that history is not just made of wars and treaties, but also of the quiet hours people spent together, their laughter and concentration now lost to the wind. Just as these carved stones hint at lost moments of human connection, a different kind of fabric woven from mystery was discovered along another ancient route. Buried deep within the cold, dark peat bogs flanking the Amber Road, archaeologists uncovered a fabric that defies the natural order of decay. These textile fragments, woven from plant fibers that are complete strangers to modern botany, possess qualities that feel almost futuristic. They are not merely preserved, they are pristine, displaying a combination of exceptional durability, inherent water resistance, and an ability to regulate temperature that rivals, and in some tests even surpasses, our own high-tech outdoor gear. The mystery is twofold, rooted in both the material itself and the hands that crafted it. Scientific analysis hits a dead end, unable to match the plant's genetic or cellular structure to any known species, living or extinct. This suggests we are either looking at a plant that has completely vanished from the earth, or the artisans had a way of processing common plants, like nettles or flax, using a secret method that so fundamentally altered the fibers that they now appear alien. The way these fabrics were woven deepens the puzzle. The patterns and techniques do not correspond to any known cultural tradition from the Baltic or Central European peoples who controlled the amber trade. It is a style without a homeland, a signature from a culture that has left no other trace. The distribution of these fragments, found at key trading posts along the route, confirms they were not local oddities but valuable, sought-after commodities. Yet, in all the records and sagas that detail the wealth of the North, there is not a single mention of these miraculous cloths. How could something so advanced, so practical, and so valuable be produced and traded across a continent without a single scribe bothering to note its existence? These textiles are ghosts of a forgotten industry, a peak of material science that was reached, utilized, and then somehow erased from human memory. They represent a road not taken in our technological history, leaving us to wonder what other everyday miracles have been lost to time. This profound loss of material knowledge finds a strange parallel in the silent, imposing stones of our next mystery. High in the Andes, the very stones of the Inca roadways were designed to listen. Scattered along the Quihapac are architectural marvels, from retaining walls to small waystation structures, that manipulate sound in ways that feel both intentional and inexplicable. Walking through a specific corridor, a whisper can be heard with perfect clarity over 100 feet away, while the sound of a shouted command just a few yards off is swallowed into near silence. Modern acoustic engineers have mapped these spaces and found a stunning reality. The surfaces are not flat. They are subtly, imperceptibly curved and angled to create a complex filter, amplifying certain frequencies, often those in the range of the human voice or specific musical notes, while completely canceling out others. This is not a happy accident of construction. It is a sophisticated application of sound wave physics. The consistency is what truly confounds experts. Identical acoustic principles are found in structures separated by hundreds of miles of the most brutal terrain on the continent. So what was the purpose of this empire-wide sonic architecture? The theories are as compelling as they are unproven. Could these have been the Inca equivalent of a telegraph system, allowing messages coded in specific tones or chants to be relayed across vast distances without a single runner? Others propose a musical function, suggesting these were sacred instruments, spaces where ritual chants would be transformed, their harmonics enhanced to create an overwhelming spiritual experience for participants. A more speculative idea points toward healing, wondering if the Inca possessed a forgotten knowledge of sonic therapy, using specific resonant frequencies to promote well-being in ways we are only now rediscovering. Yet none of these ideas fully explains why such a monumental and consistent engineering effort has left no echo in the historical record. The Spanish chroniclers, who documented so much of what they saw, never mentioned a whispering wall or a silent courtyard. It is as if the purpose was so deeply embedded in the culture that it needed no explanation, a common understanding that died with the last Inca engineer. These structures stand as a testament to a culture that didn't just build with stone, but composed with sound, creating a silent symphony whose opening notes we have only just begun to hear. As the last echoes of this resonant architecture fade, we find that another civilization left behind a different kind of message, one not of sound but of sight, etched in a script that refuses to yield its secrets. These milestones guard their messages in plain sight. Along a forgotten stretch of Roman road in Dalmatia, the standard inscriptions of emperors and distances give way to something far more cryptic. The carvings on these stones are not mere text. They are complex ciphers, intricate patterns of letters and symbols that do not correspond to any known Roman encryption method. Legionary codes like the Caesar shift used by Julius Caesar himself are child's play compared to this. Modern cryptographers, armed with supercomputers and every historical code-breaking technique, have hit a solid wall of silence. The messages remain locked tight, their meaning permanently scrambled. The placement of these stones is its own kind of clue. They are not randomly scattered, but mark a specific, secluded route, creating a secret pathway within the public highway. This was clearly a road for a special purpose, a corridor where information was so sensitive it had to be hidden in the very markers meant to guide travelers. What kind of traffic required this level of secrecy on a public works project? The sophistication of the code points to something of immense value, perhaps the movement of imperial spies, the transfer of state treasure, or the secret relocation of a political prisoner whose identity had to be protected at all costs. Yet this theory creates its own paradox. Why would the Roman administration, which typically projected its power through grand, visible monuments, choose to hide its activities here? These cryptographic milestones represent a ghost protocol in the Roman system, a level of administrative secrecy that appears nowhere else in their vast infrastructure. They are a silent testament to a hidden world of statecraft operating just beneath the surface of stone and law, a world whose rules we can no longer read. After 26 other enigmas, from whispering stones to vanished caravans, this cryptographic road leads us to our final, and perhaps most profound, unsolved mystery. The ultimate mystery of the Silk Road was not a lost caravan, but a single object that should not exist. In the ruins of a remote caravanserai, archaeologists unearthed a ceremonial container that defies every expectation of ancient craftsmanship. It is a perfect storm of cultures, a single artifact that seamlessly blends the artistic DNA of 8 distinct civilizations. Its body is adorned with Chinese lacquerwork, its lid inlaid with flawless Roman glass, its base forged with Indian metal alloys, and its surface detailed with intricate Persian enameling. These are not just separate pieces glued together, they are fused into a unified whole with a single, coherent artistic vision. This is where the mystery deepens beyond mere collaboration. The techniques used to create this object are technically incompatible. Chinese lacquer requires a specific humid environment and curing process that would ruin the delicate Roman glass. The Persian enameling needs firing temperatures that would shatter the Indian metal base. According to everything we know about ancient manufacturing, this object is an impossibility, a collection of parts that should have never been able to become one. It stands as a ghost in the archaeological record, a singular moment of transcendent synthesis. Was this the product of a legendary workshop, a secret hub where master artisans from across the known world gathered to share their most guarded techniques, creating a one-of-a-kind masterpiece? Or does it point to a completely unknown center of innovation, a lost city of artists who had somehow mastered the material sciences of the entire globe, only to vanish without leaving another trace? The container's very existence suggests a brief, brilliant flash of globalized creativity, a pinnacle of cultural exchange that was reached only once. Its silent, beautiful form holds the ghost of a conversation between worlds, a secret chapter in human history where the boundaries between civilizations dissolved not through conquest but through shared art. When we step back from these individual enigmas, a deeper truth about the ancient world comes into focus. These 28 mysteries are not isolated curiosities. They are the scattered pieces of a single, sprawling puzzle, revealing that the world's first highways were the central nervous system of a more complex and interconnected civilization than we ever imagined. These roads were not merely paths for moving goods, they were dynamic conduits for the most valuable cargo of all, knowledge. The whispering stones of the Appian Way, the prime-numbered weights of the Persian royal road, and the celestial markers of Britain all point to a shared, sophisticated understanding of mathematics and physics. The ghost metal of the incense route and the impossible fabrics of the amber road reveal a material science that seems to leapfrog centuries. And everywhere, from the coded milestones of Dalmatia to the untranslated medical tablets of the Silk Road, we find evidence of information that was deliberately encoded, hidden, or protected. This recurring theme of secrecy is perhaps the most telling pattern of all. It suggests that the most advanced knowledge was not public domain, but was instead closely guarded, traded in secret, or buried to protect it from conquest or catastrophe. The roads themselves become a kind of lost library, their stones and artifacts the last surviving volumes of a forgotten encyclopedia of human capability. They force us to reconsider the entire timeline of innovation. Progress was not a smooth, upward curve. It was a landscape of peaks and valleys, with brilliant cultures reaching technological heights, only to have that knowledge vanish, leaving behind only these cryptic clues along the routes that connected them. These ancient pathways challenge us to see history not as a collection of separate empires, but as a single, global conversation, a conversation whose most profound exchanges are only now being heard. Our journey down these forgotten pathways forces a humbling realization. For all our modern technology and historical records, these 28 enigmas stand as a stark testament to the vast, silent gaps in our story. They are not merely academic curiosities. Each whispering stone and vanished caravan is a ghost at the feast of history, reminding us that entire chapters of human ingenuity have been lost to time, conquest, and the simple, relentless erosion of memory. These roads were the arteries of a world far more interconnected and intellectually vibrant than we ever gave it credit for, carrying not just silk and spices, but the very seeds of advanced knowledge. What we have uncovered so far is not a collection of answers, but a new and more profound set of questions. How many other civilizations reached similar peaks of understanding, only to have their light extinguished before it could be passed on? The true mystery may not be the individual puzzles themselves, but the recurring pattern of disappearance they represent. Every time we decipher a new symbol or analyze a strange alloy, we are not just solving a riddle. We are piecing together the biography of a global conversation that happened millennia ago, a dialogue in mathematics, astronomy, and material science whose full volume we are only now beginning to hear. The road to understanding our past is itself an ancient and winding path, and with every step we take, we find that our ancestors were far closer companions on this journey of discovery than